forget a face I killed, especially one that ugly.
What started as a Duke Nukem spin-off quickly got 3D Realms into legal trouble with the brand's new owners at Gearbox Software, and the public didn't respond well to the debut trailer either. Now rebranded and rebuilt as Bombshell, it's still clear where this game got its start with the 90s era protagonist and her pop culture quips. Only, it's 2016, and no amount of nostalgia can save this train wreck.
They arrived, they tried, they died.
The game begins with Shelly Bombshell Harrison responding to a distress call at the White House, where aliens have invaded and taken the president hostage. After what is essentially the tutorial, Shelly is transported to another dimension by the villainous Heskel, who we're supposed to have a history with. It's as if the game begins on Chapter 5, expecting the audience to have prior knowledge of the world and characters. The story is thin and poorly told, with no clear revelations until the final boss encounter dumps exposition all over you.
Know what they say, live long and kick ass.
Each of the game's generic levels features uninteresting objectives, like saving missing squad members or finding 3 keys to open a door. On its surface, the design can be compared to dungeon crawlers like Diablo, but that would be insulting to Blizzard. There is no sense of discovery, and no driving motivation to propel you forward down its linear paths. Completing certain side objectives grants bonus cash and XP to upgrade your weapons and skills. In fact, if there is one positive thing to say about Bombshell, it's that its upgrades feel significant, making them worth the time you spend collecting cash.
How many aliens does it take to change a light bulb? None. They're all dead.
Combat quickly grows tedious after the first few encounters. There are roughly 8 weapons that are obtained periodically during the 12-hour campaign, but most of them feel utterly useless. Even the flamethrower lacks any real power when used against ice enemies. Due to a limited ammo supply, you're forced to use underpowered weapons for a considerable portion of the game, severely slowing progression down. The most egregious sin is the lack of enemy variety. The same 3 or 4 enemy types swarm you repeatedly, leaving you to spend most of your time trudging through a monotonous rhythm of combat. Additionally, Shelly repeats herself incessantly with phrases like, "How many aliens does it take to change a light bulb? None, they're all dead." By the 40th time we heard this offensively juvenile line of dialogue, we decided to turn the audio completely off.
How many aliens does it take to change a light bulb? None. They're all dead.
There are a few boss fights to mix up the proceedings, but at this point, Bombshell becomes absolutely merciless. Due to their inconsistent difficulty, they become far more frustrating than entertaining. They're often able to kill you with one hit, and there are no checkpoints during the 3-tiered fights. You can feel the game draining the life out of you as you replay these encounters over and over, hoping that this is the time you'll get lucky enough to defeat this awful thing and move on.
Well, that's gotta hurt.
In addition to guns, Shelly also has access to 4 special moves like a Super Punch and Bubble Shield, all of which can be upgraded with skill points after leveling up. The Bubble Shield is unreasonably overpowered, and by the midway point, it becomes the primary way to dispatch throngs of enemies, making guns feel like a waste of time.
Know what they say, live long and kick ass.
Visually, Bombshell is ugly. The low-res textures wouldn't be as bothersome if there was anything interesting to look at, but the entire game is either red for fire, blue for ice, or red again for the futuristic enemy base. Bugs were also prevalent in our playthrough and run the gamut, including slight visual glitches, hard crashes, getting stuck in the environment, and mysteriously dying for no apparent reason at all.
They arrived, they tried, they died.
Bombshell should be avoided and forgotten at all costs. It is an utter waste of time and money and will not benefit your life in any meaningful way. You'd have a better time sitting in a room and staring at a wall instead.
And I'll make sure it's the biggest mistake you'll ever make.
You would know something about mistakes, wouldn't you, Shelly?